Hello, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining in and joining on time. So we'll be starting in 2 minutes. We'll just give more room for more of your fellow participants and scholars to join. Then we'll start. In the meantime, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat where you're joining from, your name and your country of residence. We have our presenter with us today, and she's looking forward to speaking to every one of you and interacting with you. You're all welcome. So hi, everyone. We're starting now. Thank you so much for joining on time. My name is Success, and I will be moderating today's webinar. So today's webinar is the second webinar for week 5, human resources, and we have our presenter here with us. So before I introduce her shortly, I want to talk about the pitch. So the pitch registration for the intent to participate in the pitch is live. This is just for us to know that you're interested in participating. And once the registration closes, you won't be able to participate in the pitch because you've not registered to participate. So as soon as you can, it's a 2 minutes 2 minutes survey, 2 minutes registration. So just click on the link that was shared on the WhatsApp groups and register as soon as you can, so you get a chance to present your pitch. So thank you for that. I'll be introducing our speaker with us. Our speaker is Sophie Muga Wasonga, and she's a human resource business partner. She's a skilled and initiative-driven human resource professional with vast experience in human resources and management. Sophie is passionate about human capital and participating in developing systems, processes, and structures that will improve workforce performance. The competencies she has acquired over the years has seen her improve her skills in driving strategic workforce planning, implementing successful employee engagement, and the general staffing needs. With hands-on experience in operations and proven success in cultivating a better understanding of HR operations among staff members, developing lively HR meetings and workshops, as well as mentoring and coaching junior staff in career development. Sophie currently holds a valid HR practicing license from the Institute of Human Resource Management, IHRM, a body in Kenya that regulates HR professionals. She's a certified human resource professional from College of Human Resource Management in Kenya. Sophie holds a double major, Master in Business Administration in Human Resource Management and Strategic Management from Africa Nazarene University. She is currently pursuing a professional doctorate in leadership innovation at the University of Pretoria. Sophie is married and a mother of 3. Together, she lives with her family in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sophie. It's such a pleasure to get to learn from you, and we look forward to interacting with you. Thank you very much, and over to you, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Success. I would have loved to start with a story as far as creating a team is concerned, but I can see we are 5 minutes late. So I want to welcome each one of you. If you see me move, I'm just trying to get positions where you can put the voice to the face. So, many a times you want to relate with people when you're seeing them, the way you're seeing Success. So that's me. The introduction is very well done. Thank you, Success, and thank you for an opportunity to always interact with the learners at whatever stage you are at. We want to bless the Lord. So great to see you, all of you. Sarah from Nigeria, a number of you from various parts of the countries where you're watching, you're listening from. You're so welcome. So we want to get to understand how do we create a team? And the last time, I think we defined a team. I don't know whether we have anyone in the room, Success, who was in the room that time. Just the
Yes,
definition of a team.
yes,
What
everyone
was the
here
definition?
was should
Okay.
have been there
So
last
we
time.
actually, yeah, I didn't change much of this because some things do not change. Some things remain the same, but we only change the strategy of implementing some of the things in a practical manner and as times changes as well. But sometimes the context remains the same. It is how creative and how innovative we get by with some of these things. So who remembers what a team was? Once you have an idea of a team, then we move forward with the same mindset. A team, you can put in the chat or quickly raise your hand and just tell us what a team means. You can even Google. You'll get it very fast. Anyone who can tell us what a team means? Sam from Rwanda, since you're the last one I'm seeing, can you tell us what a team means? The initials of the word team
Okay,
as you move to the next slide, please. Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
all right. From my own understanding, I would say a team is a group of individuals coming together with one purpose, with one mission, with one vision to achieve a particular goal. They are driven by their mission, they are driven by their whatever they aim to achieve, and the end result is to achieve that objective, that particular objective which they set for themselves.
Awesome, Sarah. What is the difference between objective and a goal?
Is
Team
that
is a group of
question
people.
directed to me?
Exactly. Go ahead to help others who've just said team is a group of people having the same objectives. I want us to understand what is the difference between objective and goal. Someone says team is
Uh,
a group of people with the same goal. Some say a team with a group of people with with the same objective.
okay.
All right.
Uh,
Can you give it a try?
okay, let me give it a try. I'll say an objective is that particular thing that like is just like a focus area that the group of individuals wants to achieve. It's not just a focus area, it's more like their aims, what they intend that at the by the end of this for example, when you say, okay, by the end of this period we should have been able to get this and get that, so I'll say that is an objective. Then for
Yes.
goal, I don't really know how I'm going to explain that.
Don't worry. So, and what is Google telling you simply the initials of a team are? If someone can just Google and tell us what is Google saying or any definition. As I tell you, normally a goal can be short term, a goal can be long term, and a goal can be mid term. But at the end of the day, if I want to get to Nigeria right now, that will be my goal. But the means at which I'm getting to Nigeria will be my objectives. So when a team to come together, they have a goal, and the goal purpose could be they want to probably buy an apartment together. But what are the steps that will make them get 10 million or 20 million to buy that apartment? Those steps are the objectives, and they must be clear for them to attain that target or that goal of purchasing that building. If you look at Google, will just give you a one-time definition of team. What T stands for, E and A and M. If someone gets that, please post it on exactly. Together, each achieve more. Thank you so much, Dixon. That's very right. So together, each achieve more. That's what comprise the word team. It's a team because you choose to be together. It's a team because you have created yourself to be together and get to achieve a certain motive. So, a team, we are talking about creating your team. And I don't know, it could be a football team. It does not matter. What team are we talking about? But of course, we are referencing a working place or we're referencing a business. But whatever team you were supposed to create, the context remained the same. So a team is not just people who work at the same place. A real team is a group of very different individuals who enjoy working together to help the organization achieve its goals and purpose. There's a reason why a business entity, there's a reason why you sit down and make a business plan so that at the end of the day, whether it's profit, there's a number of reasons why you will want to have a business. There's a number of reasons why anyone will start an NGO. There's a number of reasons why a profit-making company exists. And because they exist, they must have a team that aligns with their culture so that at the end of the day, this organization is able to meet its end goal. Next slide. So it's not necessarily that we must know each other for us to make a team. And that's why the next slide gives us the diversity of team. So while we must have goal, we do have vision, but then it's skills that comes together. We all come together with different talents. And that's why they usually say a successful or a strong team is as successful or as strong as per the weakest member of the team. So you can be 10 of you, but then you consider 3 very weak people, or you consider 3 not bringing anything on board or on the team. Why? Because you're trying to be oneness. You know, oneness does not mean that the entire 10 are supposed to be the same. So if you're going to leave one person behind and you're 10, then that team will manifest its strength as the weakest member of the team. And that's why they say so. So the diversity of the team means you, me, Success, and everybody. As we are here already, we are a team. And we are a team because we have one objective. I mean, we have one goal with several objectives on how we can, at the end of the day, achieve our goal. So the diversity is very important because that is what will drive you to your vision. And the way to drive your vision clearly is by ensuring that various expertise are appreciated. What they bring on the table is appreciated. And that's why you can see those stars. The guy on the other side has a very big star in brown. The other one has a white one in small. The other one has a blue, almost midway. The other one has an orange or something, a gray. So all these are brought together. If the guy with the big circle is left all alone, then he might not be able to achieve the vision. But the fact that they may be smart enough to bring a big idea on the table, they still need the small idea on the table to be put together, and at the end of the day, to attain the vision. Next slide, please. So embracing diversity. We're told that studies have long established how diversity exposes people to different perspectives. Why do we study? And why do we study different areas? We could simply all be saying we want to be journalists. But no, we all want to be different things so that our countries, our communities can be empowered in different ways. Because if all of us decided to be doctors, I know there wouldn't be any sick people in our community, probably. But then probably there will not be farmers. So at the end of the day, people will be sick. And doctors will have too much work because there's no right food to eat. So that's why the diversity that is brought by different people is meant to create a bigger picture of why we come together and embrace our uniqueness to make one big team. So normally the embracing diversity is so simply so that we can have new ways of thinking. We can't all think as farmers. We can't all think as doctors. We can't all think as engineers. So both engineers and doctors and farmers doing different things, but at the end of the day, communities are changed. Countries are moving forward. And therefore, some of these new thinking, they're actually the reasons why we have creativity, we have innovation, we have faster problem solving, and deeper customer connections. We'll only attract others when they see something that we have in return. So working with people from different backgrounds, beliefs, lifestyles, and life experience also benefits the individual on a personal level. Me getting to know how success and the rest of the world functions is an exposure of a different level. And therefore, when teams have regular exposure to people outside of their normal circle, they become more aware of their own biasness and stereotypes. We do have stereotypes. For example, in Kenya, I'll tell you, there are quite a number of stereotypes. Until I'll meet a Nigerian or an American, then I realize, oh, okay, my stereotype does not benefit me in any way. And my biases do not build me, but break me. But you can only discover that when you're out and embrace diversity. Someone said that a child only knows that their mother's food is the sweetest until they ate the neighbors. More or less like embracing diversity. So as people become more self-aware, their minds may be open. Exposure will come to you when you expose yourself to interacting with other minds, not just likely minds. We say, you know, you want the likely minds, the like minds like you. But sometimes exposure and even self-awareness will come by interaction of other people who are not of the same mind as you. So open minds then lead to open hearts as they begin communicating and collaborating with greater empathy and adaptability. When you get exposure, definitely you either must learn how to adapt, because when you meet me or when you meet success, and when you put in the same department, you may not operate the same because you're not of the same minds. But embracing what success or what Caleb will bring on board will definitely make you as a team, and one unique team. So whether for business or personal gain, there's no downside to building diverse teams. So in a team, you don't want people who think the same, you know. You don't want someone who you raise, you could be in a discussion and someone just says, oh, okay, what Dixon has said is fine. I'll go by what Caleb has said. You want to have people who bring insights in a different way. And that's the beauty of a team. Next slide. So how do we create an effective team? There are characteristics of an effective team. And for us to attain an effective team, we must have trust between members. Most of the time, the teams are broken because the trust gets broken. And that is related to any team, any scenario of a team. If I can't trust you, then it means I'll not be honest, and probably I'll withhold some of the information that you need because I do not know what you need to do with. So for you to have an effective team, first of all, there must be trust. And when you have trust, there are a number of things that are going to reveal themselves. One, once you have trust, you're going to be on the same page because you'll be focusing on the common goal. You're going to actually open room for creativity, and you'll open room for organized work. At the end of the day, you're going to have commitment and dedication from team members. And then there are things that will flow automatically. And I want us to look at each individually so that we also get to understand that there are boundaries as far as team is concerned. So when you have a team, there's a reason why you have created a team. So if you've created a team of 10 members, you already know the goal. If some boundaries are not introduced, the team breaks. So next slide, please. Let's see what are some of the things that might end up breaking a team or might end up building a team. So good teamwork is essential to success. We all agree. Otherwise, we will all fail. And good organization needs teams that are high performing and can communicate clearly. So as a supervisor or as a manager, you can contribute by cultivating strong teams and encouraging teamwork. One, that tells you that a team leader has a very great role to play in blending the team together. So if a team leader cannot communicate clearly, people do not understand what they need to do at what time, or people do not understand Today, you communicate something different. Tomorrow is something different. A whole team will end up being confused. So a team leader is very essential to a team, and that could be a supervisor or a manager. They say that people don't leave organization, but people leave people. So if you're a team leader and you can communicate clearly, or people do not understand if they follow, whom are they following? Where are they heading? Then you end up breaking the team. But let's look at a few of the things I've just mentioned. Trust between members. We all know that trust is earned. And therefore, we are saying that trust is one of the most essential ingredients to team success. When colleagues trust each other, they plan more effectively, work more efficiently, and become stronger as a group. As a team, we do not need to work watching our backs. You'd be very happy to know that if I'm together with Samuel or Sarah, I don't have to watch my back. I have to confidently working, knowing that they also cover my back. And how do they cover my back? If anything is wrong, they will be bold enough to say, you know what, as a team, I think we are moving this direction, but you're taking us the other direction by some of your actions. That creates trust. Someone knows that if I go wrong, if I do something wrong, I have someone in the team who will boldly let me know. But when trust is lacking or damaged, it can impact everything from overall morale to employee engagement and yet team performance. So if we have to look at our back, if I have to be afraid, even telling my team member something, then that means that at the end of the day, the performance will be affected in one way or the other. So you want a team that is focused. You want a team that knows, I trust you. I have your back, Sarah. I have your back, Dixon. You know, if someone is absent, someone will know that, you know what, her work is not going to bring a great loss because we can unite as a team and cover her and, you know, cover the gap that probably Sarah may have fallen sick and she's not here. But as a team, we are going to see how we can distribute her work and ensure that the work is done. So building strong peer relationship and fostering trust among colleagues makes everything run a lot more smoothly. And this goes back to a team leader. You can either help build trust or break it. And this you can do by teaching people how to rely on one another, just as I've given an example. That Sarah has not reported for one reason, she may not be feeling well. Instead of a team just staying behind and saying, you know what, Sarah keeps missing work. Sarah keeps not doing ABCD. You will have a team who are focused to the goal and say, you know what, she's not in, but our work is not going to be injured because of her absence. We're going to move forward and deal with her absence later. So as a leader, you just need to keep on reading, you know, keep referencing your strategies to promote a culture of trust on your team. I know I may have wished that we discuss this question, but time may not be on our side. What are some of the trust strategies to build team trust? I wish we could discuss that, but let's see. Liz, the next slide. The common goal. We must have a common goal as a team, and we've discussed about goal. We've discussed about how the difference between objectives and goal. People usually confuse when they talk about objectives. They say, oh, no, as a team, we are brought together with such and such objective. But though the objectives is a checklist of what needs to help you attain your goal. So goal is a bigger picture. And that's why when the goal is too big, it needs to be broken down in a smart manner. And we all can go back and see how we can set SMART goals. And we know what the word SMART means. So team goals are the objectives or milestone. When someone talks about objective, is the same as milestones that our teams commit to working towards together. So team goals often measure points in process or develop skills across an organization. And team goals can also help employees feel more invested in the company's objectives since they contribute to developing them. So when you're setting up goals, it will be important that even the team members are aware of some of the objectives that are listed, because it's not easy. It is actually not easy for a team to be able to attain a goal without clearly having known the objectives that are supposed to drive them. So these will give everyone the opportunity to display and develop their skills and contribute their unique experiences, because people would be able to bring on the table and say, these objectives may not work for us. These objectives are not in any way related to the goal we want to attain. So as I've given an example, you could be heading to Nigeria, and the route you're taking is like the Israelites route, the one that took them 40 years, and then they only needed 11 days. So someone in the group will say, no, these objectives cannot help us attain this goal in a timely manner. And that's why you need diversity in your team. Someone who can challenge some of the objectives and say, no, I have a different idea. I think we are taking a longer route, or I think we are taking a shorter route that will shoot us in the feet. So how do we set team goals? Next slide. Focus on company goals, use of SMART criteria, action plan, permit team members' creativity, narrowing support to individual responsibility, and follow-ups. And I think we've discussed about the goal and how you need to have various team members who can challenge objectives. And then an action plan is obvious. You can't start a journey without knowing whether you have transport or you don't have transport to get you there. You know, use of a SMART criteria is where you're saying we want to set SMART goals. And how do we set SMART goals? You must definitely have an action plan for you to be able to set SMART goals that will help you attain the same. Permit team members to be creative. If you have a team that can't speak into your goal, then that's not a team. If you have a team that just needs to be part of your team, and yet they're not allowed to be creative, and yet they're not allowed to share their minds, you know, they can think, they have expertise. If you ignore some of these people, they can sit back and not ensure that you do not explore in those expertise that they carry. So you need to ensure that you have team members that are creative, but as a team leader, you also have to allow the team members. And of course, follow-ups. Sometimes when you have a goal and as a team leader, you must give the insights of team just checking up on each other, you know, as you're doing ABCD, probably what you're doing is interrelated. So follow-ups will help to know that if someone is behind and I'm running too fast, then I might not even be able to achieve what I'm supposed to achieve because I'm running too fast, and yet I need Sarah on my team to help me at the end of the day ensure that we achieve the results. So next slide. So this is how we talk about understanding SMART criteria. We've all heard of SMART every now and then. And when you go to Indeed Career Guide, you're going to find the SMART goals elaborated in depth. If you find some time, please read about SMART goals and read about how you can make them specific. You know, you have to have goals that you know you can achieve them at the end of the day. So SMART is simply specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based, you know. And that's why when we're setting goals, we usually ask, you put them in terms of short-term, mid-term, and long-term, and put some period to it. Because if you have goals and they're missing out the SMART measurement, then that means you don't care whether you'll attain that goal in 10 years. I don't know whether you have seen some people who have done their degree. And probably for some reason, I would excuse those who've had a challenge of either resources, but I don't want to talk about time because you can't have a 4-year degree taking you 10 years. That means that the 6 years of your life are left behind. But in case it's about resources, then that tells me that even as you pursue the degree, there are other things that were concurrently running as you pursue this degree. It could take 10 years, yes, for reasons that were unavoidable to you. So that it was not a specific goal. I mean, a specific goal. It was not measurable, but at least you were able to attain it while you're doing other things. But then for any goal needs to be SMART. You know, measurable, it means you define what evidence will prove you're making progress and reevaluate when necessary. So if I'm taking a 4-year course, I'm not, for some reason, it's not just coming to an end. you have to keep on reevaluating it. Do you need to probably stop and just say, if it's issue with resources, I'll put resources together. So I can use 1 year or 2 years, put resources together and embark on my degree, meaning it will give you less, probably 5 years to finish than the 10 years it would have taken you struggling to get resources and going back. So let it be attainable. Make sure you can reasonably accomplish your goal within a certain time frame. So when we're talking about a goal that is being attained by a team, then it also must be attainable. So you come together as a team. You have formed 10 people who have decided that we want to do A, B, C, D. But if you do not specifically, put some measures of how you're going to attain that goal, then you're going to have a challenge as a team. And those are some of the things that breaks a team before the end of attaining their goal. Why? Because it wasn't smart. It didn't even have some time bound, or no. We're saying that at the end of the year, we want to do ABCD. And then we are not evaluating the objectives that are supposed to give us that time of the end of the year. So SMART goals are necessary, and you can use various criteria to ensure that you have SMART goals. Next. So when you talk about creativity, we have mentioned allowing the team to be creative. If you have formed a team and you're the team leader, and remember, a team must have a team leader. So if you create a team and everybody's a team leader, then there's going to be a problem. But if you have a team and you assign a team leader, then that means that there's someone to guide and not necessarily call shots, but be able to direct or champion the team. And there could be a number of criteria you've used to give this specific person a team leader, or it's just a team leader who has formed a team. Now, when you talk about creativity, we're saying that creativity has an important place in many workplaces. So in terms of workplaces, there are a number of work cultures that will allow the diversity we've spoken about, have employees who can work together to develop innovative ideas that can benefit the organization and its customers and clients. So when you talk about a team, you can actually break this team according to how you find them being able to accomplish some assignments. For example, you have a team of 10, and you have this goal that will require you to break this team into sub-teams. So you want to look at, I'm not saying you're likely to have a weak person, a weak not in the sense that they cannot perform, but a weak in the sense that probably they're not go-getters, they're not risk takers, but at the end of the day, they are very quite aware of themselves. They're able to carry a task from the beginning to the end. And then in a team, you have a risk taker who says, no, you're too slow. I think if we did this, we can do it better. So you want to use that creativity to subdivide a team. Say, the 3 of you are going to do this, the other 3 of you are going to do this, so that we are going to do different assignments with a target of attaining our goal. And therefore, you subdivide these teams according to the creativity you note in the team. So when you talk about creativity, we define team creativity, describe the user of it, and share steps you can take to develop team creativity with those in your workplace. Any question up to there before we move to the next slide? Success, do we have any?
No questions for now.
All right, next slide. Understanding boundaries. This is one of the beautiful steps I usually say every one of us must take into cognizance. Whenever we have a team, if we have respect, we'll also know that respect will come, but by understanding some of the boundaries. There are some of the boundaries we take for granted, and they will affect the team big time. And of all, these can break or make a team. You've seen a team that starts very well together, a team that have very great ideas, but at the end of the day, they break simply because people never respected each other, or someone just got into a team and decided to disrupt every other person. So it is important to set boundaries at work or in whichever team group you have created to maintain a good work-life balance and raise your work satisfaction. So setting up boundaries at work involves establishing personal goals and limits that you share with your colleagues in order to keep good mental health practices while working, along with helping you preserve your job satisfaction. And what do we mean by this? I would really have wished that we discuss some of the boundaries, but we know that some boundaries are obvious. People get into a team and a good percentage of their time or a good percentage of the time that should be given to that team, the gossips, the respect towards one another, how even the team start discussing one another, takes the order of the day. And then the side shows comes and redirect people's attention from the main goal to now start, solving squabbles. And therefore, understanding boundaries becomes key so that the trust is not broken. Next slide. And here we just have some few types of boundaries to set, e.g. at workplace. And we're taking an example of workplace. And there could be many. There could be many beyond what we already have here. Physical boundaries, When you talk about physical boundaries relate to your physical workplace and your body. And therefore, I know in our last session, we spoke about policies. Policies would come in handy, especially at workplace and with a team. And remember, even two people, those are already a team. And therefore, when you have some guidelines, some rules that are leading that team, then they are able to maintain the team. They are able to hold the team intact. And these rules establish your expectation for how people interact with you, and they often relate to space and touch. Example of physical boundaries, and we're mentioning a few that may include shaking someone's hand rather than hugging them. I don't know whether you have ever met someone who says, you know what, I don't hug, I shake hands. Just boundaries to protect themselves. Wearing headphones to signal that you're busy. There's someone who could be in a meeting. It's very important that probably if you're in an open office as a team, it's very important that you have your headphones so that everything you're discussing, not everyone is listening. Going for a solo break during lunch, specifying how long someone can borrow an item from you. That's a team. It may look petty, but as a team, if you don't have some of these rules, then a team can get too familiar. And as we all know, familiarity leads to complacency. We also have emotional boundaries. So emotional boundaries help you process your emotions at work. They help you to separate your feelings from how someone else may feel without, negating the need for empathy. Example of emotional boundaries includes the following. And I'll tell you, emotional boundaries can be a big thing. People come to work with various issues and they expect people to sympathize and not empathize. Please note, there's a difference between sympathizing and empathizing. And as a team, once you have a team, it's better to empathize and not sympathize, because sympathy breaks people, but empathy is really just caring and letting people know that we are here, we care. We may not be able to do much, but we care. Giving someone a shoulder to lean on. So some of the emotional boundaries may include avoiding engaging in someone's bad mood. If you're going to allow someone else's bad mood determine your mood, then you're going to have a team that is operating with everybody's mood. So if today you have Sarah coming in and she's moody, she feels like she wants everybody to understand that she's having a very bad day. And so all of you, there are people when they are moody, they are going to announce that I have a bad day and I'm going to ensure all of you have bad days. So with this, if you have some boundaries where people know that if you're having a bad day, that's not anybody's responsibility, but your responsibility. So it calls for maturity also as a team. When you're creating a team, you also want to introduce some mature aspects that will guide a team. So if you're moody, we know people can have bad days, but please let not your bad days destroy the objectives of the day. Delegating work to others appropriately, that's very important. Next slide. Talking to your manager about how you prefer to receive feedback. Very important. Sometimes we shy off. People may not be the best, but sometimes people may also not deliver information the way it should. If you feel that that's not the right way, approach and just say, that's not how I expect to be spoken to. I expected that feedback would be trickled in that manner. With openness, with honesty. Not participating in doubling down on others' negative feelings. If people are feeling bad, don't make it worse. Just give them space. But if you are the one also feeling bad, don't jump on everybody. Don't step on everybody. Give yourself space and allow others to continue with their good mood or with their positive energy. Because sometimes one negative energy from one person in a team can bring down the whole team. We're talking about mental boundaries in a team. And mental boundaries support your mental energy and help you focus when working. They typically relate to your opinion, thoughts, and value at work. And examples may include establish the set hours you work, advising management on strategies for more efficient meetings. You can be having meetings late at night and probably have a family, or you have some schoolwork, or you have some, just assignment that you need to attend to. Not gossiping with colleagues at work. This can be very dangerous as well, because most of the time, a gossiper does not give you facts. A gossiper would want to give you their side of the story. What about the other side of the story of the other person? So when someone comes to you gossiping, this is what I usually do. I like reading the unknown. What are they not saying? So cut on gossiping at work, especially with colleagues, so that you remain productive. And that's part of mental boundary. Setting messages on instant messaging to alert others that you are focusing. Sometimes you have to take some action that would allow others not to distract you. Next slide. Commitment and dedication. We all know that when we have a team, whether at work or whether outside work, commitment and dedication is key. And when you're committed, it means you do have a role, I do have a role, and each one of us need to be committed to the specific roles. So we are saying that it is usually known that employees, when they have high commitment, then they contribute their maximum energy and time for achieving the organizational goal and objective. When people are committed, you don't need to remind them of what they need to do. When you're committed, you even feel bad when you have to be reminded of what you are supposed to do. And this will provide a sense of satisfaction, and this sense of satisfaction further motivates them to give their best. When someone is committed, they will definitely be motivated to be the best version of themselves. And therefore, the organization needs to develop the commitment of the employee by adapting the finest methods to see that the employees remain committed to the organization. And we spoke about some of the things that can help a team member remain committed in the organization. And those are in the staffing structure. So for these, the organization management is to adapt various techniques to ensure that the employees develop positive attitude towards the organization. The techniques provide the employees with job satisfaction and job involvement. The motivated, involved, and committed employees become an asset for the organization, since such employees lead to increase the productivity and hence the performance of the organization. Now, if every one of us is committed, the 10 of us, because remember, as a team, just 5 of us already form an organization. And for us to see a successful organization, our commitment, the organization motivation to retain us or to ensure that some of the tools are available for us to be able to perform better, we'll see a very flourishing organization. So commitment is key. Commitment, education is key, but they're all attributes that would be rewarded back by the organization and what they're offering for this team to remain committed. Because you can remain committed to an organization, but you don't have the tools that enables you to carry out the work successfully. So it is a give and take where the organization gets committed. If you're 10 of you, you formed a member, then it means your goal already for that team, whatever name you call that team, it means you're also dedicated to ensure that you give back to the effort that the team members are giving to the organization. Next slide. Organized work. I think when you're organized, you remain motivated. If you have everything scattered, I don't know, I myself cannot work in a cluttered place. I get so confused. So when you remain organized as an individual and as a team, you remain focused. And that's why you're seeing being organized increases your chances of achieving your personal and business goals. And usually organizing involves creating a plan, identifying the best possible way to achieve such a plan. In addition, it helps you to complete tasks faster and easier. I think there are people who probably just like a notebook and a pen. I have my priorities outlined. You just find satisfaction in ticking them off and knowing that, hey, I have finished this. And I think it kind of pulls you down when you have a list of priorities and you keep on it's called what? Procrastinating on these issues. So when you wake up, you find that something that you should have finished 3 days ago, it's still moving forward with you. That tells you that there's some organization skills that are required. So for instance, being organized can provide you with enough time to seek additional certification or attend further training. All these contribute to making you a better professional and can make it easier for you to meet the company's expectation. So when you remain organized, when you're able to separate your work and be able to leave some time to do other things, it means you're also building your capacity to support that organization or to support that team with greater ideas and innovativeness. Next. All right, and this is how we build an effective team. We have a number. So you are a team. You can't just stay and work in a vacuum. You need to find out what is happening in the marketplace. The marketplace is changing, and how is it changing? So you need to already have a goal. You have people who are skilled, but they need support to either continue training, you either need to continue coaching, you either need to bring in collaboration so that to ensure that all these people are able to bring their diversified skills together. So let's just see how we define each one of those. Team building, building a team. Is that the end of the slide? All right, just go back a little bit. I want to talk about each one of those. All right, so we've spoken about goal a lot. We've also spoken about how team can support each other. But I want to talk about when you come up as a team. We've spoken about how, as an organization, the purpose, you don't want to lose the purpose of a team. So we have spoken about how do you go about motivating this team. You might need to just specify, besides some of the things you've said, we're having a work-life balance, creating some rules, having some policies. For you to also motivate this team, you can actually decide that, we'll be having lunch together. Or if you have subdivided the teams into probably 3, a team of 10, you can say that the team that completes their task within a certain time, they will get, a sweet treat. And the sweet treat could be simply getting these people go for lunch. That will motivate the other team members. You must be solution-oriented. So even as you seek to have this team achieve their goal, are you solution-oriented? Or if in case your goal is hampered by a problem, you are all going to dwell on the problem and not move forward. So the team must be solution-focused to ensure that you drive the goal that you have towards achieving it and achieving it in time. The skill is very key. We've spoken about the skill expertise, bringing people with different skills so that they are able to bring diversity on the table. So you can have people going back for training. We've said when you're able to achieve, when you're organized and you're able to achieve some of the things you're able to achieve on time, then that means you have some time to do your own training. It could be a course you're doing, a certification you're taking. And then as you take this certification, you're also able to coach others. Or even if you're a team manager, you're able to bring on board people who can actually coach your team so that your team grows stronger and stronger. So that's just what I wanted to mention around team building and building an effective team for that matter. Our last slide. So Christine Kane says that to build a strong team, you must see someone else's strength as a complement to your weakness and not a threat to your position or authority. Many of us are driven by fear when we have strong people on our team. That should not be the case. You should actually be bold enough to know that when you have a stronger person than you, they're supposed to help you build your capacity. So you're supposed to build in their strength and not see them as a threat. So having said that, I beg to come to conclusion as I look forward to your questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sophie. We have one question here. The first question is from three questions actually. First one is from Victor Lee. He's asking, what strategies can I use to align my organization team members towards a shared goal?
Among some of the things we've spoken, building trust. You also need to know that you don't just wake up and have a team. A team must trust your vision. So one, you must clearly communicate your vision. You must clearly, communicate what is the reason and the purpose for the team. Once you have that clearly, you're able to attract others on your team. But if you do not have anything people can look at and say, surely I'd be glad to be in his team, then you would struggle bringing people on your team. So for you to bring people on your team, you must communicate your vision clearly so that people know that they're not just following you for the sake of following you, but they have something that you'll attain together. Then the other thing, don't be selfish. Don't create a team for your own selfish reasons. Create a team where everybody will belong and everybody will understand that together we are here to achieve.
Thank you so much, Sophie. We have another question here from Samuel. Samuel is asking that if you can differentiate between creativity and innovation.
I don't know whether you ever heard this saying that says invention is the mother of creativity, or creativity is the mother of invention. Either way. But creativity is, get yourself out of your comfort zone. Can you do something different? They're always repetitive tasks. You wake up the office or you wake up the organization, even in your own house, they are repetitive tasks. You know very well, I'll just wake up, wash my face, have some coffee, blah, blah, blah. But you want to bring some creativity into that. You can say, you know what? I can't just be waking up, have my coffee and sit on my desk. I would be going out for jogging. How do I go out for jogging? I want to do 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'll be doing some exercise. Oh, I'll be reading a book before I get to my normal day schedule. So creativity just means, spicing up what you do on a daily basis, but doing it in a different way that you enjoy and brings you satisfaction. Innovativeness is actually discovering that there's a different way you can do something that has been done over the same way. So people may have known just this is a way of doing this thing. There is no other way, or there's no other route of going to Nigeria. But you surely know that there can be a plane or there can be other vehicles that go to Nigeria. So innovativeness is just doing something different from the normal way that is known, but should achieve results. You can be innovative and get people lost, but you can invent something that has been done for a very long time, but have it done differently and achieve same results, but on a higher version. And that's the difference.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's very clear. So we have another question from Winnie. Winnie is asking, how do you deal with a team leader who think that they know it all?
Don't bring them down. You have to be different. If you're in a team where a team leader just knows it all, even when they're getting you to drown in the lake, one thing, do not work in strife and contention because it will not make you different from them. But politely bring in your ideas in a respective manner. In a respective manner, because when you have a leader who will know it all, they're likely not to give you a chance. Therefore, look for various occasions where you do not want to prove them wrong, but you actually want to show them support in doing something that probably they're doing in a different way. So for example, a leader insists that it is this way and no way, and yet you know very well, if you did it that way, it would be wrong. Find a respective approach of saying, that's not the way to do it. Because if you do it forcefully without respect, you're going to introduce fights. So you want to be different from this leader who knows it all. Let them always have the opportunity. But whenever you have an opportunity, do not challenge them, but present yourself in a way that everyone will appreciate. Oh, okay. So we also have a team member who can actually contribute positively. And that leader will start also respecting you because one, you are not introducing a fight with them. Two, you're not showing that you're out to compete with them, but you're only showing that you're out to complement them. And if that does not work, find a time you can approach this leader. Some people are subconscious of their actions. And therefore, it's important that if you've noted that and it's very obvious and you have facts, you have some examples you can give them. Find a time where you just say, do you have some time? We talk and let it out. Say, you know, you're doing ABCD. You sometimes appear like you know it all. And you make some of us to hold our ideas that could help you as our leader do better. Believe me, that leader will appreciate. But if it's a fighting one and an immature one, then you might not succeed with that method. So the best way is to calmly and wisely see how you can support them.
Thank you very much, Sophie. We have 3 more questions. The one I'm reading out now is from Genesis. Genesis is asking, he says, as a team leader, what strategies can be employed to avoid being burnt out or overwhelmed while ensuring everyone, that's including the weaker team members like we talked about, are achieving more? While you're trying to ensure that, how can you avoid being burnt out and overwhelmed as a team leader?
Don't be everything and anything. The reason why we create a team is so that we can distribute our assignments. So I've seen leaders who know very well that this assignment and this assignment is being handled by this and this person, but they will still get into the way. So definitely as a leader, you're going to have burnout. For example, if you are directing a task, a goal, or an assignment, and at the same time, you are actually the one getting down and showing, just managing people. So sometimes you have to differentiate the roles. If you're a director, then that means your role is directing. If you're a manager, your role is managing. But then how do you manage? You need to distribute. Once you've distributed the tasks accordingly, and everybody knows what they're supposed to do, you also know what you're supposed to do. You stay on your lane in trust and confidence that you have done your part of ensuring that everybody knows what to do at what time. Then don't bother people. Stay back. And that will help you also to ensure that at the end of the day, when you've given people the freedom to do what they're supposed to do, when you go and evaluate, you will either evaluate either you're getting results or you're not getting results. And that means you need to do a shift in your strategies. But please don't get down in doing everything and anything, even things that you've given people to do, you still get down, you want to do them. Then people will have a laid back and say, at the end of the day, he loves doing it or she loves doing it. Let her do it. You definitely are going to experience a burnout. Then the other thing is have a work-life balance. If you have introduced rules, stay by the rules. I usually say as a leader, don't, drink wine, preach water and you go drinking wine. So what happens if you have policies, live by them and let people live by them. If you're working from 8 to 5, you've ensured that you've given your best, then let it be so that you also have a work-life balance that would ensure that you keep the strength and you keep the motivation and the energy of going on.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Sorry, the questions just keep coming. So, we have a question from Ifunaya. Ifunaya is asking, in a team, is it necessary to have hierarchy?
It's very important, very, very important. The reason why it's very important is because you will leave a gap that everyone would assume that they need to either fill it or run with the show. So hierarchy are usually not meant to intimidate our team members, but they are meant to outline how things ought to be done and who to hold accountable. So hierarchy are very necessary, but for good reasons, for positive reasons, so that I know if I have delivered, I know if I'm stuck. Who do I turn to? You can't be, the problem and then sometimes the solution at the same time. You might have a problem, but you need another one to offer solution. So hierarchy comes in because when it's your problem as a team member and you don't have a solution, that problem should be escalated to someone else. Who's that? Who's a team leader? And probably that team leader may not have a solution. Probably they also have a board member or a board in the organization that they can turn the problem to. So that's the reason for hierarchy, so that we have accountability in whatever we are supposed to achieve at the end of the day as an organization. But believe me, the hierarchy of I'm the boss are wrong. So you need to differentiate those hierarchy as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. So we have a question from Ahmed. He's asking, as a startup business, can I use partnership with colleagues as substitute expenses required to build a team, especially in resource constrained settings?
Yes. But you have to be very careful. So it means you need to have a plan. And that plan should be well defined so that you don't get in trouble. So if you you don't blindly create a team. You create a team and communicate a purpose. And that purpose is what you will hold the team from the beginning to the end. And in the process of the beginning to the end, there are boundaries, as you've said. There are guidelines that we're communicating.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Last question from Genesis again. Is asking, how do you deal with a team member who is always playing safe and avoiding responsibility?
That's a team member who's lazy. So you do not, you just find ways of communicating. And that's why when we hold people responsible, that's why you see in organization, we have job description. They are holding you by that job description. So if someone is just sitting behind and assuming that things will happen, how? You need to approach them. And that's why in whatever we do, we have what we call KPIs, the key performance indicators, that are at the end of 6 months, at the end of 1 year, would you have fulfilled 1, 2, 3, 4? So you hold them accountable. If they're not, please let them know, have some measures and say, as far as this month is concerned, you have not been able to fulfill ABCD. And that's where warnings comes in. So this is a team member, you communicate, give them some space to improve, give them some time, improvement plan probably. If probably the problem could be they have no idea of what they're supposed to do. So that's why we are saying as a team leader, communicating clearly is key so that every member of your team knows their tasks. When they know it, you'll be able to hold them accountable. When holding them accountable, it means you can be empathetic, give them time to improve, and that time must be smart. It has a duration. If someone has not improved within the 3 months of saying, oh, then that's when we fire them. You say, you know what? Probably you'll be better off out there in another organization or out there at home, and you release them.
Thank you very much, Sophie. That's very, very clear. And thank you to every one of you here for participating and engaging with the questions and with the webinar. We are really glad to see that you've learned a lot. Thank you for the appreciation messages too in the chat. So it's going to be our last time with Sophie, and I'm sure we are going to miss you greatly, Sophie. However, would want to hear some last words from you before we say we call it a day today.
Wow. I think my last word would be a powerful quote about creating a team, which says that coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. That is a quote by Henry Ford. We can come together, yes. Probably come together and then we never created a purpose. But keeping together is progress. We start discovering our weaknesses, we start discovering our diversity, which will help us now work together and bring the success we need. So this just emphasizes building a team isn't just about bringing people together, but nurturing unity and collaboration towards a common goal. So please note that just as a relationship, the first step is coming together. And then within that relationship, if it's a boy and a girl dating, believe me, in the process, you will know if it's staying together, because there are things you will discover along the way. And then when you've stayed together to the end, you're able to see a success. And that's the team when we create one. Thank you so much, Success. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining this presentation team. I'm so grateful for each one of you. And I pray that may God open doors in whatever area you're trusting to succeed in your life.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Such a pleasure hearing from you. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. We have week 6 webinars coming up next week, so look out for that in the WhatsApp group. In the meantime, enjoy your day and have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Good evening. Bye-bye from my end. Thank you.